Hello friends, welcome to our channel Stocks Factor. Hope you are doing well. Friends, in this video, we are going to cover another very important topic, which is futures cumulative open interest. So this video is again the part of the derivative analysis series tutorial videos, which we have already started, and we have already posted few videos on derivative analysis topics like PCR, the put call ratio, and we have covered that in 3 videos in very detail. And then we covered the how to analyze the FII's derivatives data, and then the open interest definitions, and then now we are coming to the futures cumulative open interest. So friends, we are covering this topic in a sequence. We are not picking the topics randomly. All these indicators, whichever we are discussing, whether it's PCR or futures cumulative open interest or open interest in terms of cumulative open interest we have talked about. So these all indicators we have used in our dashboard, and we have already opened the dashboard for our audience. So now why we have used these indicators we are going to discuss in these videos. So why to see these numbers, what are the significance of these numbers, and how to look at those numbers in our dashboard using the demo. So in this video also we are going to cover the topic, that is futures cumulative open interest, how to interpret it, how to use it, and why to use it. So friends, I highly recommend you to watch this video till the end, because we are going to discuss this particular indicator in detail, and we'll see how to look at this indicator and why to look at this indicator in the dashboard. Also in this video I'm going to share very important facts about this particular indicator, which will be very helpful for your trading decisions. So friends, before we start the video, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe to our channel to get the notifications of our weekly market analysis videos, derivative analysis series videos, and other videos which we have started posting. If you want to access our dashboard, as you can see, we have already published our dashboard, and the free trial version is already available for the audience. You can see, and if you want to access the link for the dashboard, you can drop us an email to this particular email ID, and we'll provide you the free access to this particular dashboard. So let's get started. By the definition, futures are derivative financial contracts that creates an obligation to the parties to transact a particular asset at a predetermined future date and price as per the contract. So friends, to get the essence of futures, what is future contract and what is the significance of that contract, let me give you an example, which is a very practical example. I'll not take a very theoretical example. So right now, as you already know, that India imports the oil from, Saudi Arabia or the Gulf countries. So 80% of our need is done through the import of oil. So what India has done is, India has created a separate basket. So right now you see the prices of crude oil, Brent crude, there are different varieties of, crude oil trading going on. So if I just quickly jump to the website to show you how the prices are listed on the crude oil. So friends, as you can see on your screen now, I have opened the website, that is oilprice.com. So now if we go to this tab, that is oil prices, so you will see all the prices listed for all different baskets. So you can see WTI crude, Brent crude. So there is one more, that is basket, that is the Indian basket. So what is this Indian basket? So basically this is the price exclusively for India, and this is a tradable instrument. You can see the price, it will change on a daily basis. So what is Indian basket and how it is managed? So let me give you an example. So Indian government from time to time, all the Indian companies, I should say that the Indian oil companies they make a contract from time to time. It can be a short-term contract like 3 months, 4 months, or a medium-term contract up to 6 months. So friends, in this contract, what they do is, suppose oil companies are anticipating that the oil prices may rise in the near future, but on the contrary, the Gulf countries who are selling the oil, they are having the anticipation or the fear that the oil prices may fall. So you need two parties, right? And they should have a counter trade. So what will happen is, both the parties will come together. Either they can put a mediator or directly have a contract. So in that contract, what they will do is, they will fix the price till a particular date. So there will be a maturity date, that is the futures. For suppose the contract is for 6 months, so till the maturity, till the next 6 months, the price is locked at a particular price, and India would, whatever the price be in the international market, India will buy the oil at that specific price only. So for example, now the price rises after the contract, so India will be benefited because India has already locked the price, right? But on the contrary, if the price is falling, so India is still obliged to buy from Gulf countries at that particular price which has been made in the contract. So this is the primary market we are talking about. So whatever price is going on in the primary market and exclusively for two parties. Now friends, let's think about that the same instrument which was tradable in the, or the contract which was made in the primary market is now tradable in the secondary market. That exactly what happens in our stock market, that is Nifty, where we trade the future contracts or the any other contracts in the derivative segment. So what happens is now there can be multiple contracts for the same instrument because there would be multiple parties, right? So for every contract there are two parties only. So one A, that is the counterparty, and another B. So one open interest is having two counterparties. So in markets there can be multiple counterparties. One is buying the futures and one is selling the futures. So there should be two counterparties. So in that way the future contracts are getting traded in the market. So once you enter a contract, you are obliged to adhere to the contract on expiry date, on the maturity date. So as you already know that in our Indian markets the expiry is of 1 month. So everybody in the market is trying to make a view. Suppose in the current month or in the near future you are bullish about the stock, so you will buy the futures, and somebody who is bearish about the stock, he'll sell the futures. So you need two parties to make that particular contract. Now how the future price is calculated in the Nifty or our index, basically there is a mathematical model. Just to give you very brief, we'll not get into the nuances of what that mathematical model is because we just want to understand the utility and how to use this instrument in order to have effective trading decisions. So just to give you a sense that the future price takes into account the current spot price, the risk-free rate of return, time to maturity, storage costs, dividends, dividend yields, and convenience yields. So there are multiple factors which affects the future price, but the most important factor is obviously the current spot price, right? So you will see most of the times you will see that the future price is slightly above the current market price, and in some cases you will see that the future price is discounted to the current spot price depending on whether the dividend company is giving the dividend or not. So generally in the dividend scenarios you will see the future price is getting discounted. So in this way a typical future contract behaves in the market. Now friends, after having covered this particular definition of futures, let's switch to what are the pros and cons of buying a future or selling a future in the market. So what are the pros? Pros is that investors can use future contracts to speculate on the direction in the price of an underlying asset. So that underlying asset, we are talking about the stocks or the index which are tradable in the NSE market. So you already know about the derivative segment. So we are talking about equities and the derivatives of equities. So now the companies can hedge the price of their raw materials or products. So this is apart from the market. As I mentioned that the typical example of India buying the oil from the Gulf countries and they are coming into a contract to lock the price. So they are hedging the price. Actually, they are hedging the price because both are having an anticipation on either side. One is thinking that the price may rise and other is thinking that the price may fall. So they both are coming into a contract and just hedging their risks or hedging the price. So in order to protect themselves from adverse price movements. So the third point is the future contracts may only require a deposit of a fraction of the contract amount with a broker. So friends, this point is again, you already know that if you have traded in the future segment in the market, so suppose you are buying one lot. So whenever you buy futures, there is a lot size. So you buy that lot in the market and you don't pay the total price of that particular lot upfront. Suppose we talk about SBI stock. So SBI stock has a lot of 3000 shares. So in one lot there are 3000 shares. So once you buy that lot, so you don't have to pay like in the cash market 3000 into whatever the stock price is. You will just pay a margin money to buy the contract. So you get a leverage. So you only need to deposit a fraction, that is a margin of that total lot size value, right? And you can buy the futures contract because you are making an anticipatory position in the future contract. So these are the pros. Now what are the cons? Investors have a risk that they can lose more than the initial margin amount since futures use leverage. So as I mentioned that the futures contract use leverage. So you have a huge risk because if the price starts falling, so since the lot size is very much, so and you have only paid the initial margin, so the price falls and you can incur losses in that particular position. So the other point is that you should always hedge your position. So investing in a future contract might cause a company that hedge to miss out on favorable price movements. So what does that mean? That, for example, I mentioned that suppose India has locked the particular price at for the crude oil at 55 rupees, or sorry, $55. Now what will happen is, in the market, suppose the price has fallen to $50. So India is now losing at that international price movement, because that price has become favorable in the international market, but India is still buying at the price which has been adhered to the as per the contract, that is the 55. So that $5 per barrel loss is incurred by India, right? So that can be the cons if the international price movements are favorable or outside in the market. Now the third cons is margin can be double-edged sword, meaning gains are amplified, but so too are losses. So as I mentioned that you are just paying a small margin to buy a huge lot, but it can turn either side. Either they can give you the gains or they can give you the losses. So we'll discuss the future strategy in separate videos when we'll come to the strategies, how to make your positions. We'll do in later videos, but right now we are focusing here on the futures contract and how to use that contract and how to understand the data of futures cumulative OI. So let me come to that, the very important topic, that what is futures OI and the cumulative OI and how to use that. So as you can see on your screen, so the futures cumulative OI. So what is futures OI first of all? So futures OI is like we talk about the current expiry. The futures open interest is whatever outstanding contracts are standing for this current expiry. So suppose the current expiry is of month January 2021. So what would happen is whatever contracts that have been purchased for this particular month, that is the January 2021 contracts, which will expire on the last Thursday of this particular month, right? So only the current expiry. Now when we talk about cumulative expiry, so we are talking about the total sum of all the open interest of all the expiries combined. So what do we mean by that? We are adding up the open interest of current expiry, whatever outstanding in the market, and the next month expiry and the far month expiry. So friends, as you already know that most of the stocks have the future contracts for not only for the current month but for the next month and another next month. So till up to 2 months you will find the future contracts. You may find later on, but if I tell you about the Indian markets, so mostly in the stocks, if I talk about, you will find liquidity in only up to 2 months, next 2 months expiries only. So most of the liquidity will be in the current month expiry. Then then comes the level of next month expiry, and in the far month expiry, suppose you are in January month, so February you will find some liquidity, but very less liquidity in the March expiry. But in case of index as in Nifty, Bank Nifty, you will find huge liquidity in up to March expiry, because index has a very huge volume in the total turnover in the market. So 60% of the volume is contributed by index only. So that's why index a very liquid instrument. So you will find the liquidity in the next month expiries also. But in case of stocks, you will find the most of the liquidity in the current expiry only. But as soon as the expiry comes, suppose the current expiry is going on, that is the January expiry. So after 15th of January, you will start seeing the liquidity in the next month also. So people will start buying the next month contracts directly, instead of if somebody wants to purchase the future contract for a particular stock. So instead of buying the current expiry, because the expiry is coming near, so they will prefer buying positions in the next expiry. Okay, so you will start finding liquidity in the next month's expiry also. So that's why in order to get the holistic picture, you need to see the cumulative OI instead of just seeing the current month OI, because then you will get the sense of how many total outstanding contracts for a particular stock or index are standing in the market, and then you can decide, and then you can understand that what is going on in this particular stock and how people are anticipating the movements of this particular stock, right? So that is very important. You need to understand this, that futures OI should be looked at the cumulative level, and that's why we are focusing on this particular indicator, and in our dashboard also we have shown the futures cumulative OI, the stock analysis page, in the index page. So wherever we have shown the futures data, we have shown the cumulative OI, not the current month OI only. So friends, now coming to the very important question, why we should look at the futures cumulative OI. So let me give you the answer for this. So try to understand that there are different kind of players in the market, right? To answer this question, so you see there can be a strong buyer and there can be a weak buyer. So there are two types of buyers and similarly two types of sellers, weak seller and strong seller. The futures cumulative OI, it gives you the indication of the positions of a strong buyer or weak buyer. So for example, we'll take in this particular video, we'll discuss this with the demo also. So we'll take a demo after this covering these slides, so you'll understand it better what I'm talking about. So just to give you a sense, so as I mentioned, there are strong and weak buyers in the market. So what are strong buyers? They can be one player and they can be multiple players. So they have a lot of money. They are people with deep pockets, a lot of information. They can be FIIs, they can be DIIs, or they can be HNIs. And whenever they make their positions, they make huge positions, right? So that's why we call them strong buyers or strong sellers. So they have the potential to move a particular stock. So whenever they will make a position, they will make the position in bulk, whether they are making the positions in cash market or in the futures market. So future market also, you will see a significant jump in the cumulative OI, right? The OI change would be significant. So that's when we realize that the strong player has entered in that particular stock. So futures cumulative OI gives you the indication of the player, whether it is a weak player or a weak buyer or a strong buyer or a strong seller, right? So friends, let's discuss this with all the use cases. So as you can see on your screen, we have mentioned 4 use cases, and we'll cover these 4 use cases, that why we should look at the cumulative OI and how does it matters. So as you can see, the first use case is that the close price increases and there is a significant increase in futures OI. And we are talking about the cumulative open interest, right? So there is a significant increase and close price also increases by 5% or more. So right now we are talking about, suppose the close price is increasing by more than 5% or 10%, there is a 10% increase in the close price, and you see significant long buildup in the futures position, that is 5% or more. And that's what we have also highlighted in our dashboard, that whenever there is a OI buildup on short side or on the long side more than 5%, so we highlight that because we indicate that a strong player has entered. And also if you see that in conjunction with the delivery market data, that is the cash market, suppose on the same day there is a significant delivery also for that particular stock, and there is a significant long buildup in the futures position 5% or more, and there is a significant increase in close price. So that means a strong player has entered on long side, and that player can supersede the option players. So what do we mean by that? When we say the futures player can supersede the option players, it means that whenever a strong player, so strong players are generally the FIIs, the institutional players, so they have a lot of money, right? So when such kind of players enter into future positions, they are not entering in that particular stock for a short-term perspective. You have to understand that. So they're not having a view of 15 days or 10 days like retail investors, right? So they keep a view of medium term, that is 3 months to 5 months or up to 6 months. So they will roll over their positions. You have to understand this. This is very important. And why am I saying this? Because you know that futures position can be rolled, but option positions cannot be rolled. So that's why future player has more weightage than the option players. So whenever a strong player enters a particular stock at a particular price, that player has the tendency to move the price higher for that particular stock from where the player has started the buying. Okay, so whenever you see the day where a strong player has entered, so it means that the player will take the prices higher, even higher, right? So there can be one player in a particular stock, or there can be a consortium of 3-4 players together in a particular stock to move the price. So that's why when you see that a strong player has entered into a particular stock making future positions, you will see a significant activity in the option chain. Lots of calls or lots of puts will get unwinded depending on whether the position is on long side or short side. So because future player is now entered, and the option players, if they are different from the future player, they will be wiped out and they will try to cover their positions. They will try to wind up their positions because now they understand that a strong player has entered and they need to move out from that particular stock. Then we come to the second point, that is the close price increases marginally and marginal increase in futures OI less than 5%. So we are talking about less than 5%. So if you see the close prices just move 1 to 2% or less than 1% and very less change in OI like 1% or so 2%, then it means it is a weak player, and you would not want to chase the weak player. You would always want to chase the strong player. That is the first case. Then comes the third case, that the close price decreases significantly and significant increase in futures OI 5% or more. So the price decreases and the OI increases. It means the strong player has entered on the short side. And similarly, the fourth case, you can see that close price decreases marginally and the marginal increase in futures OI. It means a weak player has entered on the short side, and you would not want to follow this player unless you find out that there is a strong player entered and now the player has the tendency to move that particular stock in that particular direction. So friends, with this we come to the end of the theory part. Now we'll switch to the demo, to the dashboard, where we'll see few examples on how to look at the future cumulative OI and how to interpret it. So friends, we are on the dashboard now, and let's switch to the stocks analysis page. So friends, we have switched to the stocks analysis page now, and the first example we are going to see is of Kotak Bank, and I have selected the Kotak Bank on the filter, and also the time duration we are seeing for the 4 months, right? So let's start with the futures cumulative open interest. We have shown multiple graphs for futures cumulative open interest, and let's start with the first one, that is the close price and futures cumulative OI expiry on expiry. This E on E means expiry on expiry. So like we are showing the monthly trend here, like at the end of every expiry, what is the close price at that point of time and how many outstanding future contracts are standing at that point on time. So you can see that this is a multi-month graph, and here if you see on the September expiry, you see that there was a decrease in price rise and there was a slight increase in the futures cumulative open interest in that particular expiry. But after that, what happened? You saw that the price started increasing, and since then the price has increased significantly, and we have also seen that expiry on expiry there has been rise in the futures cumulative OI. That means a significant long buildup has been done, significant long positions have been made. So as I was mentioning in the theory earlier, that whenever a strong player enters into a particular stock, so it enters with a view of a few months, not for few days only, 10 or 15 days. So that's why you are seeing the long buildup getting carried every month, right? And the new long positions are also getting added, and the old positions are getting rolled over, and the price has risen significantly. So let's see that how we can identify that whether a strong player has entered. Before that, let me come to another graph. This one is the more detailed graph if you want to see the futures cumulative open interest movement with the close price every day. So this is day on day. Like if you are doing swing trading or trading for few days perspective, so you can follow this detailed graph also based on futures cumulative open interest for every day in relation with the close price. Now let's switch to the table at the bottom and let's see. So in this table, basically what we have done is we have shown the complete holistic picture row by row, where you can relate the futures cumulative open interest with the delivery percentage, that is the cash market percentage, and also the option chain data. So every row day by day gives you the complete picture of what is going on in the cash market, in the options data, as well as in the futures data. So we'll start with the day when we found that a strong player has entered, and we'll take the day when the last results were announced. So if you remember that on 26th of October, Kotak Bank results were announced, and the very next day we saw a strong movement. So let's see that particular day. So you see 27th of October, right? So here you see a significant increase in the price rise. So the previous day close price was 1416.90 and the next day close price was 1587. So almost more than 150 point price rise in a single day. And that's why the price rise is 12.05%. And you see significant buildup in the futures cumulative open interest. So this is the OI change for a single day. So the previous day you can see the cumulative open interest was around 12 million. The very next day it was almost 16 million, just few less than 16 million. So that's why you see that there was an increase of 32% almost in the futures cumulative open interest. And now you can see that in conjunction with the delivery percentage also, the cash market. So you see that there was a significant delivery percentage also, like cash market buying was also done, and the average was very high, that 753% as compared to the previous 5-day delivery percentage. So this was a significant purchasing done in cash market. So now you have got the confidence that from this price, from the low price of the previous day 1416 till 1587, a strong player has entered now, a very strong player has entered. And because you see there was a significant buying in cash market and a significant OI buildup, a significant price rise. So all these points are matching in relation with each other. And then we look at the options data, you see put OI change total. Now here we are seeing not at particular strike price, we are seeing the whole option chain together, combining all the put writing at every strike price. So this gives you the combined number. So you see put writing was done more as compared to the call writing. So now you have got the confidence that from this particular day a strong player has entered. So it can be institutional player. Now we related at that point in time that in this particular day FIIs also did buying. So we can relate that FIIs would have made positions in this particular stock at that point of time. So in this way we can relate how we can relate it with FII data also. But now overall we have to understand that now the strong player has entered into the market. And since then you see that we have already seen in the graph also, the price has risen continuously and the long build-up has continued since then, right? So in this way you can relate it. Now you can also see the option chain at every strike price. So you also see there is a graph of option chain. Now this graph shows you the current day picture, the last trading day, but for every day you need to see this graph and also relate. So if you would have seen this graph on 27th of October, you would have seen that put writing was done. There would have been more put writing as compared to the call writing, and the support would have started shifting higher in the next few days. So we can see that historical trend. So here in this particular graph, the OI band, which we call OI band. So in this we are showing only two strike prices where the maximum call writing is done, the blue line, and the maximum put writing is done, the yellow line. So this is the band. So maximum put writing tells you the major support level, maximum call writing tells you the major resistance level. And you can see that in relation with the future price and the cumulative open interest rising and the close price rising, you see there is a shift in resistance and support level also. So you can see the resistance and support shifting higher. So this all data is correlated. So you have to look all this data in correlation. So first point is you have already seen that a strong player has entered into the futures position. So from that particular day, you will start looking at the option chain and also start looking at the OI band and how the trend is changing, how the positions are getting shifted in the option chain also in conjunction with the future price, so as to understand that whether unwinding is being done in the option positions against the futures position. So it means that if a strong player has entered into the futures market, you will see changes in the option chain also, because future player is more powerful than the option players who are working in different strike prices, right? So in this way you have to look at the data. Now let's take another example. So the more recent one. So you have also seen a rally in one of the banks, that is Bank Baroda. So we'll take one PSU bank also. Okay, so straight away let's switch to the bottom table and we'll identify that particular day where the strong player entered. So you have already seen a strong rally in the Bank of Baroda also, starting from the 40 odd level, still now it is above 70 now. So we'll pick the one particular day where we find that strong player has entered. So just looking at this point, you can clearly see that if we take this particular day or this particular day. So let's start with 25th of November. You see that there is a significant OI buildup, 32% futures OI buildup, OI change, price rise significant, put writing maximum. And after that, you have seen that there is a continuous rally, there is a sharp rally, and the new long positions are getting added, and you see significant put writing rather than call writing. Also, you are seeing the call unwinding. So everything is related. You see that maximum put writing is done as compared to the call writing. Futures OI is rising significantly, and the price is also rising significantly. So it means from that particular point, the strong player entered, and the strong player has the tendency to move the prices even higher. Okay. So in this way, you have to look at the futures cumulative open interest data, and you have to relate it with the option chain also, and also you have to relate it with the cash market data. So it will give you a total holistic picture. It will give you a complete picture, and then you can make your trading decisions according to that. So friends, I hope that we have made our point clear in this particular demo. So we wanted to cover the futures cumulative open interest in detail, and we wanted to show you how you can read those numbers. So in case you have any questions related to futures cumulative open interest data, please post your questions on the comment section, and we will definitely answer your question. And we request you to subscribe to our channel so that you get the notifications of these videos which we are posting in the derivative analysis series videos, in which we are discussing each and every indicator which we have shown in our dashboard in very detail, and sharing very important facts about those indicators. So how you can look at those numbers, how you can Study those indicators in depth and make your trading decisions according to that. And if you want to subscribe to our dashboard, you can drop us an email. In the about section, you can see our email ID and drop us an email, and we will mail you the link of the dashboard. So friends, see you in another video. Take care and goodbye.